Welcome back to Group E here at the up and down matches for WCS Korea. This has been, so far, a pretty interesting group. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Let's take a look at our standings. Deer and Marine King leading the pack.
Yeah, and Deer and Marine King are actually going to play the next game. Well, the next game is going to be Swagger versus RorO, but the game after that is going to be Deer versus Marine King. And I think that whoever wins this is out of the group. I mean, of course, he's not out of the group really, but I think that no one will be able to stop the winner of this match to advancing to the Premier League today. So that's going to be really important. On the other hand, we have now Swagger going up against RorO, and for both of them, this is also quite the important match since they are the two players who haven't won. They are both on 0-1. The loser will be in an 0-2 position where he cannot get out of the group without help.
They both did the all-in card in Game 1 for them in the group, and they both failed. RorO, his build was not 100% all-in, but very aggressive. He needed to do more damage. Swagger's build was as all-in as it gets. And on Anaconda, we oftentimes see all-ins as well. So we could see something crazy in this match. Anaconda is one of those maps that's... I don't think it's balanced, but it's really fun. It's crazy. There's all sorts of weird things you can do on this map. It's just a unique map.
And Swagger seems to have a lot of problems with his headset.
Yeah,
today.
he's really having some issues, man. I hope he's not actually affecting his play. I've never seen someone so...
You know, I actually think that the problem that he has is not with the headset itself, but actually with his earbuds.
Yeah, it looks like that may be the case, especially how he's doing this. And
it looks like every single time when he puts the headset on, it's
like jostling his earbuds.
Yeah, it kind of conflicts with the earbuds, so he's like trying to put them, I don't know.
You should get some newer earbuds. There's a lot of nice earbuds you can get here in Korea.
To be honest, at this point, I'm always wearing like earbuds when I go to the gym, and it always really annoys me that it doesn't matter how expensive they are, the ones that I buy, but after like a while they're always done for. They always have problems with the connection. So at this point I just buy the very cheap ones for like $15 or whatever.
Same here.
And they last for exactly the same amount of time. It might not be the perfect sound, but if you just need it for the gym and you're not like a music...
How long do yours last? Like mine lasts for like 4 months, and then it's like it's done. I have to get a new one.
Kind of same, like maybe half a year, and then I have problems, not with the earbuds itself, but actually with the connector to the phone.
Exactly.
And then I always have like static, and I'm like, okay, well, you guys are done, so next one's $15, whatever. It's like really weird. Like I don't have a difference anymore with that.
Well, here we go. Let's find out if Killer can get himself motivated here. Headphones are not up against RorO here at the Up and Downs.
Starting to the bottom right, we have the Zerg player for Samsung Khan. Down a game in this group, it is...
삼성전자 칸 RorO.
RorO GSL champion.
I love that intro. That guy is always tripping over as well. It always makes me laugh.
He is pretty clever.
Top left, we have his opponent, the man with the swag, Sangho, AK Killer, AK...
MVP Swagger.
This guy, you know, you think about the top process of today, like first, you know, you look at Parting and Rain, players like that. Killer used to be one of those Protosses back in the very birth of Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty. He was top dog, and now he's trying to get back in the Premier League, and he has a decent chance. He is 0-1 in the group, however.
He's one of those guys who changes nicknames more often than some girls change their underwear.
Yeah.
That's the gateway opening for him now. And going up against the Zerg player to the bottom right, that might be exactly what he needs. With an aggressive opening on a map like this, you can sometimes surprise your opponent. And I do not think that there's any question that Killer will show us some aggression on two bases.
You know what's funny is Swagger was the first Protoss versus Zerg player who ever appeared in a televised match during the beta of Heart of the Swarm. And he did a gateway expand build with Boy Race, and then he got killed by Swarm Host. And I don't think we're going to see a game indicative of that, but it would be funny if we did.
RorO is a little bit better in this matchup than he was in the previous one. And he has a 56% win ratio with 25 maps played. He won his recent games against opponents like Billowy, Parting, Deer, and actually took out Parting twice, once with the 3-1 in the best of 5. So a much better record here than he has in Zerg versus Terran. But, well, Swagger, he is one of those guys that is showing you aggressive play. We've seen it against Curious earlier. It didn't really work out, but if that goes unscouted for a second, then you're in a lot of trouble. So RorO definitely has to make sure that his overlords will be in the appropriate positions to see what's going on.
Yeah. You know, this is a map where you can do the one gas into the Nexus, and it makes sense. So RorO might be like looking at this and thinking, well, that's a little bit weird, but he's going to send his Overlord over here to confirm. And Swagger is in fact adding a Nexus, so no sort of crazy one base play, which on this map wouldn't surprise anybody, but...
Yeah, Anaconda is a really weird map. With the third base, how it works, the rocks that you have as an access point, we've seen all kinds of crazy builds. Sometimes simply Zerglings taking down the rocks and streaming into the bases. You see proxy builds, we've seen Nidus on this map. Like, I don't think there's any strategy we haven't seen it just yet.
Yeah. Rock Tower being destroyed here. The Rock Tower, he'll probably keep it alive and wait and kill at the last second, so that, you know, when the Zerg attacks, he can't pick away at the rocks until after.
That's a very interesting position for that robotics.
Very sneaky. I think we might see a sentry drop on this map. Or even just a very fast Warp Prism with Zealots and warping units in the main. If he kills the Rock Towers, he can lock Curious out of his base. We've seen this already before with Void Rays.
Yeah.
Not Curious, excuse me, RorO. Curious was locked out of his base in that particular game. And the Rock Tower actually being destroyed looks like about halfway here. To see how RorO responds to this, he has no idea, and he's not going to know about the Robo unless he happens to see what comes out of it.
He's moving towards that expansion, but he's just gonna check for the expansion itself. I don't think he will ever scout that robotics, at least not for the attack that the Swagger is trying to go for. And of course there's the Warp Prism, as we already said. And that can be really dangerous here. If you miss that for a second and there are a couple of good force fields on ramps, then you are in trouble. We should see the gateways go down, probably to the top left in a few seconds.
Yeah, I think... Well, he certainly needs to add them if he's going to do this attack. He's not chrono boosting his warp gate research fully. He's more so focused on his probes right now, so that actually affects the timing of this. Oh, he's going to do like an immortal drop with warp ins. This is pretty... This is killer, man. This is Songho. This is the Swagger coming out here. He's showing us some serious swag. The probe's poised to make the gates, and here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4. You see another one?
I think he's going to add 2 more after this. He's got 300 minerals, and I think we're going to see 1 more or 2 more. There we go. And that's what he wants.
6 additional gateways. We're going up to 7 gates now. And he has, of course, the double immortal with the drop. But he also needs a bit of a defense here. So far, he doesn't have a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a forge either, so... and that's not going to be a wall. I think he's going to have to warp in some sentries at home.
That's a lot of pylons that he's using here.
I don't like this position for Killer, not even a little bit.
Uh-oh, knock with who's there. It's the Overlord, and he scouts everything that's going on.
He's got nothing. He's got no units at all. He's got 2 immortals. He's using the mothership here to try to push these links back, and it looks like it will. But he's been spotted now, and all that RorO has to do is make a ton of units. The Roach War isn't done, though. That's a problem.
You know, those 2 Immortals can actually do a lot here. The Immortals alone, if you target them well, that's something that he doesn't know about just yet. And with good Immortal target firing against the Roaches, he could actually just make that work if he micros that Warp Prison well enough to shield them and to save them. When the Lings close the distance, he might be able to pull that off, and RorO identifies that. He's like, ooh, this is actually a little bit more dangerous than I thought. I need additional Spine Crawlers and the Zerglings.
This feels kind of like the game we saw against Lenok, where Killer almost took it. He's moving forward now, of course, with his Mothership Core as well. There's no counterattack presence here by RorO. He's just trying to hold with Lings only right now, and there's so many Zealots.
Yeah, the Zealots without the... well, they're moving in right now, but there's no +1 attack upgrade. Keep that in mind, and armor is nearly completed. The Roaches are now on the production tab, and those Spine Crawlers will be taken out immediately, and there they go. The first one already history, and now the Immortals focusing down the Roaches that we see coming out of those lava.
Killer is just pulling out all the stops here, doing the most aggressive, crazy all-ins we have seen, and he's just gonna take this game. Well, he's already dropped RorO down to 36 supply. And what a badass, man. That's all I can say.
There's no way to hold that base. A massive amount of Zealots and the Immortals at the front. There's just nothing else.
There's no way, man. This game is over.
This game is definitely over. I mean, like, the Spine Crawlers are gone. The Roaches too. GG. Swagger takes it, and RorO is 0-2 in the group.
What a build. Swagger, man. I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. He finds himself on 1-1 now.
These builds are so dangerous, especially, I mean, it's all about the double Immortal there. The Immortal takes down the Spine Collar, it takes down the Roaches, and the Zealots, they take care of the rest. And of course, since Lings are very lava heavy, it's just one of those styles that you can't rely on. And defending, you need a little bit more than that if you're on 3 bases, and one of those hatches went down in an instant.
That was brutal. It's part of this really comes down to the map, because on any other map, your robotics would have been scouted, your Morals probably would have been scouted too. You can't take a free base like that without cannons or a wall and then just make gateways in your main. Only on a map like this does a strategy like that actually work out. Even on Newkirk, you know, we saw them do that build, it was very different.
There was so much swag in that last game.
So much swag.
RorO is now in a position where he has to win both of his remaining games if he wants to have a chance, and even then he can only hope for a tiebreaker. But now we have a very interesting game, since the 2 players who won their first game in this group are up against each other. Marine King is going up against Deer. And as I said before, in my opinion, whoever wins it now is gonna take one of those spots for the Premier League today.
Very, very likely. You know, it's a very good chance. In my opinion, I think Deer may just crush Marine King here. It's Akalon, a lot of different builds he can do. Marine King is a very greedy Terran, but Deer is such a good player overall, especially in the Pros vs. Zerg, but even in this matchup, I think he's going to take it. If Marine King gets out of this group, I would be shocked. I'm really not expecting him to get out, but so far he's up in the group, played really well in his first game. Anything could happen here.
For me, it's more about the way that Marine King actually won that first game. And him actually just sitting in the booth there, it looks a lot more like back in the old days when he was really one of those best Terran players out there who always caused a bit of a commotion, who was able to take down opponents left, right, bottom, and center.
Yeah.
So maybe he's back in shape, we're gonna find out. I mean, Deer in this matchup is also pretty strong. Marine King, a little bit shaky. We're going to talk about that soon when we go into a kill on wastes. But this is definitely one of the most... I mean, Deer is one of the favorites for most people that will make it out. He's such a strong player. The SX Soul Protoss is really strong in this matchup as well. Can he do it against Marine King? That's going to be the big question. MKP, he might be able to surprise us today.
This is such a great map for this matchup because both players have so many opportunities to be aggressive. Also, third base are relatively easy to take once we get out of that aggression phase. We're going to probably see a late game on this map unless Deer does some sort of aggressive build like Blink Stalkers or fast DTs.
I would actually not be surprised to see Marine King with a very aggressive build here.
Could be. Very good point.
Deer is really good in this matchup, and Marine King, I mean, he's not super bad or anything like that, but he has a 52% win ratio, and that's not the best thing to rely upon, especially when a lot of your wins in this matchup are of the wins actually against foreign players. So he's a player who has shown sneaky builds in the past, and with a really aggressive build against Deer, he might just be able to say, like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna try.
Yeah. This is tense because, like you said, whoever wins this very likely has a chance of getting out of this group, taking that 2-0 lead. For me, I look at Deer and I say I highly favor him here. And Marine King, he did so well in game number 1. He seems to be on fire. Like you said, you look at him in the booth and he looks like the Marine King of old. Today could be his night. He could jump right back into the Premier League. And to be honest, I do not know why the game was not started.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't have a PC here, so I can't see the lobby chat.
Yeah. So get that game started, and apparently the Korean casters are finally ready. So let's jump into the game between Deer and Marine King, the 2 players with a 1-0 lead in the group. Here at GOMTV with Colin Roll.